What's up, guys? Amster Knows Hoops back today with another video, and today we are at the start of a little mini series. But before I get into describing that, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out. I love doing this content for you guys, and having those extra subscribers, getting those views up, is always more encouraging for me as a content creator. But today we are going into a new series that I like to call the Rebuild Report, where I talk about different rebuilding teams across the league for the past couple of years, like the Magic. And we're going to break down why they've gotten to the point they've gotten to and if the rebuild's going successfully. So let's get into the second best defensive team in the league, according to defensive rating, the Orlando Magic. And let's look into what this team has done so incredibly well, which of course we first have to talk about their defense, which is what they seem to be hanging their hat on. And I think they have been able to do that with much justice. Jalen Suggs, I've got to give him his respect here. Defensively, what he has done with this team, nothing short of remarkable. Tyrese here is trying so hard to create some form of separation, and Suggs is just on him. Even when he gets that half a second to create, Suggs is right back. He just refuses to let Hallie get the basketball until it's just too late, right? So Anthony Black here is already sort of saying, I'm limiting you, Bruce Brown, to have to go back to Halliburton. You're going to have to. And Suggs just manages to close this out. And Black, again, part of the advantage of what his read was, he was able to help get there to close it out, to make it a little bit of a tougher shot. And again, this has been the best offense in the league, right? So now they're going in transition, right? One of the best offenses in the league. Going. Paolo, as a defender, has really stepped it up this year, you guys. Like, again, just take a look at the patience for against Benedict Mathurin to slide it back. Even though they get the ball back here, it's still the effort that matters, and it's still the oomph that they've got. And again, this offense is nothing crazy, and they've almost doubled the points of the Pacers. Like, that is no small feat to also be shutting down one of the best offensive teams in the league. And I want to sort of talk about something here too. Gogo Badazzi, I'm pretty sure he actually came to them from the Pacers. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what he has done with this team has actually been very helpful. Their big depth have been nothing short of remarkable. But what he does here is he basically offers Anthony Black a chance to help catch up on Hallie, while also making sure that he doesn't get a Miles Turner open three. So now Anthony Black is caught up, gets that physical contact, creates a little separation for himself because he knows Tyrese is going to probably go back up, and doesn't move to try and attack the ball until Tyrese has cocked the ball up to try and throw up a nice little layup, but gets it blocked instead, which is, again, nothing short of remarkable for what this defense has been able to do against top offenses in basketball, right? So here you got Gary Harris, and here's where, again, I think the IQ of the team is so important. Gary Harris already knows how Tyrese likes to play. Tyrese is going to, and by the way, knowing Tyrese, this is also a pass you should be making. But Gary Harris gets the tip, and shout out to Jonathan Isaac for finally coming back to play basketball, and makes a great read here out to Cole Anthony. And again, against one of the best offenses in basketball, the defending champions, what I think Franz does here well is to slow MPJ down enough so that Paolo's already back there to try and help and force MPJ back out, right? You're forcing him to have to run away from the basket now. You get time to recover. And since he already went back up and Franz hadn't even jumped yet, he gets the tip from the block. And again, you just start pumping out the offense, which has been a little bit of a struggle for this team. But we're going to get into how they've been able to make this so well. And again, Jamal Mosley has been one of my favorite coaches in basketball because he's really helped the Magic, I feel like, create a legitimate culture. I'd watched a post-game interview and he talked about how this team had a sense of ownership of itself and like it's their team, and how they really put in the work to try and adjust for what they need, because quite frankly, they were tired of always just being a rebuilding team, of just losing every year. You're in the bottom of the lottery. You're hoping you get a top pick. They want to be better. They want to be something better. And that's why when we get to the end of the rebuild report and I give them almost a grade on how this rebuild has gone, this is something I had to take into account, because if the rebuild doesn't have a legitimate sense of culture around it, I think you're already about 10 steps behind the field. Not even like, the Magic in comparison to the Denver Nuggets or the Milwaukee Bucks or the Boston Celtics. No. in comparison to a Spurs, a Pistons. Like, if you have no culture in your rebuild, quite frankly, I don't think your rebuild is going to go successfully until you gain some sense of it. But let's look at the offense here. Because, of course, this team has been stepping it up too. My personal favorite player on the team, Franz Wagner. I will say, Paolo, man, the way Paolo's been playing lately, he's been moving up my list of one of my favorite players as well. This beautiful behind the back, right? You're forcing in transition. You're going, and you get to step up. And that's why I think Franz has done so well from what I've seen, which I think is super important for a guy like Franz, who's going to need to create more of his own shots, just because they don't necessarily have the self-creation from an incredible point guard. Again, transition. Jalen Suggs. What I love here, too, is now, I will say sometimes Jalen Suggs takes extremely, extremely dumb shots off of, I get the ball in transition, I'm trying to push the tempo, I'm trying to make defenses have to react faster than they possibly could. That sometimes can get a little bit questionable for me. But, again, right, you're pushing, but this time he waits. He goes, okay, let me get my team back in order. Right, you get Paolo back. And it's a two-man action here that they sort of do sometimes with Franz and Paolo that I love. Because now you get Aaron Gordon on him. And you're sticking KCP on Paolo. But it's this little bit of separation that Franz can create from Aaron Gordon that is able to get the easy mid-range bucket. And that's what I love about this offense, though, is that their players do their best to get open, spot up, or separation shots. So you got Gogo here on Loki, an illegal screen on KCP. Out to Paolo. And this is the other thing that's been helpful. Paolo's been shooting less threes, but he's been shooting much, much better quality of threes. So he's going to beat them off the dribble, right? Because now teams respect the three ball a lot more this season. Right? The whole team's collapsed. Right back out to Paolo. Wide open. And there's a three ball. It's just so fluid. The offense at times can be a little slow, but at least all the plays that are happening here make sense. Again, Paolo missed the three, right? Okay. The effort. Boom. Hipped it right back out. Paolo's already back in there to try and help his team create another chance for themselves. And since Jokic already has done his swipe, Paolo has free reign to go right back up and get the easy lay. Now you have a tie game, which is super important. And now you're in the fourth, right? This is when the time matters. You've got Reggie Jackson on you. Jokic tries to swipe, but then he immediately retreats because Gogo's right behind him, so there's a chance. But he gets enough separation from that moment of the swipe that Jokic stepping back. Reggie Jackson's trying to cover and, fill in that gap. It's too late. Paolo's already got the separation. Now they're up 4. And that's what I think this team does so well. And now we're going to break down a little bit of what they did against the Celtics offensively. And I sort of want to talk about the playmaking from Paolo and Franz and how I think if they manage to secure a really good point guard, this offense can maybe go to the next level. But we're going to take a look at what these two could create as a duo almost. So you got Franz here. He's got JB. He's sizing him up. And this is where I think the Celtics game plan got a little interesting, where they try and trap. Now, I get it. It's an 11-point game. You have 8 seconds on the shot clock. You're trying to. But then he just immediately dumps it down to Paolo. And Paolo makes this beautiful read out to Jalen Suggs because the defense, quite frankly, was just too late to rotate over. So you have the wide open corner 3. And again, just take a look. We've got Franz. He's got Tatum. Goes on him. Gets a little bit of separation. Stepping back. Al Horford trying his best to sort of cover this gap so that way that he can't drive paint. Balls out to Suggs. Another 3. And you might wonder, well, how did this happen? Because Jaylen Brown's still tagging Gogo. And at this point, he's just, quite frankly, it's just a lapse of judgment on both ways. So then Suggs is recovered. Boom, 3 ball. You're cutting the lead down to 9. And this is important too, guys. And again, this is why their defense is their identity and why it's so important that they figured this out. 0 points in 5 minutes against one of the best offenses in basketball. They have played some of the best teams in the league. The Lakers, the Bucks, the Nuggets, the Celtics. Beat them all. Now, obviously, am I saying there's some title contender? No. But what I am saying is this team is legit. I'm telling you now, I've been high on this team for a while. You can join the Discord in the description. We've talked about it there. I just love the rebuild direction because they actually have an idea of who they want to be. But let's get into the offense again. Jalen Suggs running things. He's got Tatum one-on-one. Again, the Paolo and him two-man game. You got Horford. Go, go, go. Tatum overreacts here, right? I don't know what all this is. And I hate when players do this, by the way. This isn't even just a Tatum thing. When players do all this goofy stuff and it just doesn't work, I'm like, okay. When you get it out to Franz, right? And Tatum closes in to help Franz and beautifully kicks it right back out to Paolo for the 3-ball. Like, they managed to take advantage of this defense. Again, take a look. They're going to try and press because they got 3 minutes. They're only down 10. Jaylen Brown tries something right. Franz picks up his dribble. Cole Anthony, and what this whole team manages to do so smartly. Mo Wagner, who's low-key been hooping for this team, by the way. So Paolo stays out, right? Mo's starting to move out. Jalen Suggs has moved out. Cole Anthony's moved out. Why? Franz gets the ball here. Al Horford's just, quite frankly, too slow-footed. Tatum decided to close out the gap. He's got 2 to 3 steps ahead of Derek White. He tries to get the block here. It's just too late, quite frankly. And that's a perfect play. Like, guys, this is episode 1 of the Rebuild Report. And for me, if I had to discuss the pros and the cons, the only con I've got for this Magic team is sometimes the way that the offense gets initiated can get really slow. Like, very, very slow. So when you play teams like the Celtics, and they started off a little slow against the Celtics, they started off slow at points against the Nuggets, you sort of have to hope you can speed things up. Now, I know Markelle Fultz has been out, and he's only played, I think, like 5 or 6 games for them anyway, so them being able to do all this without him is very encouraging. I think they need someone to really help facilitate and playmake along with what Paolo and Franz can do, because I think them as the primary playmakers is not what they're meant to be. But to me, this defense, the identity, their coaching, again, Paolo and Franz stepping up. Now, Franz percentage-wise has been sort of rough this season, but I think he'll kind of manage to bring it back up to similar numbers of what he's done in the past. So for me, this team gets an A. Like, they can very well sneak into a 6-7 seed this year. They could be a playoff team this year. I mean, hopefully this doesn't jinx them. But as always, guys, this is Mr. Knows Hoops. This was the Rebuild Report. Let me know what team we're talking about next on the Rebuild Report. It can be any team that's rebuilding within reason. So if you want to talk about the Spurs, the Rockets, the Wizards, I guess. Let me know down below. As always, guys, this is Mr. Knows Hoops. Much love, everybody. Peace out.